Good afternoon. This is Melody Jensen with melodieshappyworld.com. I'm really excited about today's show. And right now, we've just finished the holiday season. I'm in Claremont, California, this beautiful college town that I absolutely love. I don't know if you know, there's 7 colleges in this town, and it's like 200 years old. It's the best kept secret in LA County, and I do believe it. They're known for their trees and their PhDs. And there's a beautiful village for all the college kids to come and go to school and have a job. It's very centered on service and humanitarian and efforts, and it's a great place to come today. And I have a guest today that means a lot to me that I knew 23 years ago. Jim Sealey from Dallas, Texas is here. And about 23 years ago, I was going through a real difficult time with a challenge with health with one of my children, and it was very serious. And Jim and we were doing seminars down in Dallas, Texas with different companies and so forth, and he became a really good friend. He was always so positive, so energetic, and I never really knew till I started to get to know him what his challenge in life was. And it's the story of he and his daughter. His daughter had cerebral palsy, and I have him with me today. And if you go to melodiesecret.com, we're in the process of going worldwide with melodiesecret.com, along with Melody's Happy World Global Happiness Crusade. And we have an image profile system on there that there is a butterfly at the bottom of the home page. And Jim has a story that he wrote 23 years ago. It's called SOS, Your Child's Cry for Help by Jim Sealey. And so I'm real excited to have you here, Jim, because as we launch melodiesecret.com, the purpose of this site is to inspire, motivate, and educate people on how to be happy, like with Melody's Happy World. We're on a happiness crusade. So I'm going to ask him what he does to be happy in spite of the difficult challenges that he's had in life. What do you do to make a difference? And what do you do to make other people be happy today? And a lot of us have these things that happen to us, these experiences, and success is overcoming these challenges and focusing on the dream and not the problem. And I saw you always were able to be busy and enthusiastic and happy. And so we're going to honor you today. And with the segment SOS, Your Child's Cry for Help, I have Jim Sealey from Dallas, Texas. We're in Claremont, California, right in front of a store that I found when we came here to Claremont. And we're going to be doing the next talk show right in this location, but inside this exciting store called Happy Moments with Margaret. She's like the queen bee of Claremont, and it's going to be really fun. We're going to take you on a tour in her store to get you all excited about coming into her store, Happy Moments, and here on Melody's Happy World. The energy and the frequency just called me into one of my best friends here in Claremont now is Margaret. So our next show will be featuring her. So we're outside this beautiful village of Claremont, California. We have Bardot Restaurant right over there. We're going to go to lunch, and we're going to have a day you won't forget, Jim, okay? And so we're going to start with our show interviewing you. And Jim, I'm just so happy to have you here today. And this is Jim Sealey from Dallas, Texas. What do you do to be happy today? And why don't we start with before we go to today, let's go to what created the person you are, because you're so forgiving, so inspirational. Why don't you share with us what you'd like to about you and your daughter?
Well, it's really hard to know exactly where to start, but I have always been of the belief that life starts when you have kids, and I had 2. Still do have 2. My son is 36, and my daughter would be 33 right now. And I say would be because, yeah, she was born with cerebral palsy, and I raised them both. But when she was about 9 or 10 years old, she started getting real sick, dehydrated, and all of that. And because of all the testing that was done at the main Children's Medical Center in Dallas, she got way too much CT scans, too many CT scans, too much radiation.
Too much radiation and CT scans. There is traffic out here. We're going to have to talk a little louder. Okay, CT scans she had.
Yeah,
Okay.
too many CAT scans every year for about 5 or 6 years, which resulted in Ewing sarcoma cancer. That was one of those things that I drew deep inside and realized that that wasn't going to be the end of her story. Even though physically it became the end of her story after 4 years and 10 months. And I went through a really, really dark time. For about 2 years, I didn't know which end was up. I really didn't. And then I found a group in North Dallas called the Compassionate Friends. It's an international organization for parents who have lost kids. And
Compassionate Friends.
Yeah, and if it wasn't from them, I don't know that I'd still be sitting here.
Really, so they really
I really
helped
don't.
You. Compassionate Friends in North Dallas.
Yeah,
it's
it's an international organization. You can Google them. They've got a major website. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found ways to be able to survive. I really wouldn't.
So what are some of the things with that, the hardship, the extreme hardship of having a daughter? How old was she when she got cerebral
she was
palsy?
7. Well, she was born with cerebral palsy, but when she was 17 is when she was diagnosed with cancer.
So she had cerebral palsy,
Yeah.
but was diagnosed with cancer, and she had too many scans in the hospital.
Yeah.
And you believe that was
for about the 5 or 6 years prior to the cancer diagnosis.
okay.
And after talking to one of the oncology doctors, came to learn that all of those CT scans will destroy the DNA. 2 of the chromosomes within the DNA will be destroyed, and that's what results in the cancer, Ewing sarcoma. And I literally did everything I possibly could, taking her to San Antonio, to MD Anderson, and they all kept sending me back to Dallas with Christina. But long story short, when I finally did get my head screwed on straight, after that first 2 years, I met a lot of people that were going through the same thing that I did. And I realized mine wasn't the only story. I wasn't the only one out there who had lost a child. And it's kind of weird when I say lost a child, because I haven't lost her. I know exactly where she is. She's sitting with Jesus in heaven.
Yeah.
But during that process, I've learned how to help other people.
And that's what this show's all about today. You're going to help millions of people eventually with our Happiness Crusade as we get out there, Jim, to inspire people to not give up. So what do you think were the biggest challenges? Here you have a daughter. She's 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she was born with cerebral palsy.
Right.
Then she gets the cancer.
Right.
And what did you do when you heard about that? How did you change your lifestyle? Did you change your lifestyle? You're always into good nutrition, so I'm sure you believed in that.
Nutrition was always really important for me because of her cerebral palsy. She could get a scratch on her skin and it would get infected.
Wow.
And so I found ways to be able to counteract that. Mm-hmm. Because the human body literally is an amazing machine. That's one of the things that I really did learn during that entire process was how much the human body can really do if you'll just get out of its way.
That's right. Let the body heal itself. Food is your best medicine.
We tend to try to mess it all up by thinking we know better. But the good Lord gave us an immune system.
Right.
And if you destroy your immune system, then yeah, you will destroy yourself.
Exactly.
But if you bolster your immune system, if you do the right things, And it's really, I say that, and I immediately know that that's not exactly right. And the reason, and what I mean by that is, you can do a lot of things and screw yourself up. You really can, and your body will bounce back really fast if you give it the necessary material that it needs to bounce back.
Exactly.
But
so what had happened with you? You were the single parent.
Yeah.
And you have
Yeah.
two children,
Yeah.
and you have your one daughter that I remember you brought her to different seminars and
Yeah.
things, and I just always thought it was so great. You took her everywhere.
Yeah.
So what was the adjustment you had, and then what did you learn from it that made you happy?
Well, changing my lifestyle, even though my lifestyle had changed when my kids were born, that's just a natural thing to occur. But when you have a child who has a lot of illness, it really takes a lot of your time, and it makes it difficult.
Takes 3 hours to get ready to leave the house, probably.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's because
had to
you're
hand
getting
feed her.
diapers, you're getting feeding tubes ready, you're getting everything that goes with that. But you realize that you wouldn't do it any other way. And when you realize that you wouldn't do it any other way because she was given to you
As a gift from God.
as a gift from God.
It's such a beautiful
It
story.
made me, I'll put it this way, it made me grow up.
Made you grow up.
It made me grow up.
Children do
And-
make you grow up.
And a lot of what I do today is based on who is in need. Because
You have more empathy now.
I always kind of did,
Yeah.
but I never really focused on it. But
Right.
now I focus on it. Now
You have you know how to you know what people are going through, and you have more empathy.
I know exactly what they're going through, and it's kind of funny, you know, people that haven't lost a child, they think, well, I've heard this. Well, I lost my dog. I know what you're going through. No, I got news for you.
No comparison, huh?
I've lost a dog too, and I can tell you, it ain't the same thing.
So what are some of the
So-
hardest things, emotions that you had?
Really,
And how did you pull out of it?
well, trying to get my head screwed on straight to begin with, and try to get myself organized, try to go back to work. That was one of the hardest things that I did, because right after my daughter passed, I didn't give a damn. I literally did not give a damn.
Did she
My
your
son
whole
was
life?
my son was living in California because he had joined the Marines in December 2005, and my daughter was diagnosed in January 2017. Not 17, 2007, and so he was already here. He was already out of the house. He was gone.
He was here in
When we went to
California.
this is kind of funny because I tease him about it. When he went to the recruiting station, my daughter was there, family friend, and myself and Jimmy, and he was getting sworn in, and I said, well, there goes my son. I'll never see him again. And so we kind of teased about that, but I felt like I was losing a kid. I really did. And then when Christina was diagnosed with cancer, I knew that the reality of losing a child really did exist. And
It's tough, boy.
and it was hard to deal with that. But I tend to work through things. It's just always been my nature.
Right.
When something gets me down, I go, to hell with that. I'm going to beat you because you're not going to get me down.
That's right. You've got that positive attitude. So what are some things that helped you, Jim, rebound back to life? Because you've been taking care of her every day so intensely. Now she's gone. You go back to normal work life.
Well, she's a big void in my life at that point. And I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to fill this void? Because it can't be filled. It's my daughter. She's gone. I can't fill this void. I don't. But then I started meeting people who were going through the same thing that I went through. They had the same concerns. They had the same fears. They had the same pain. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know if they were going to survive. And I do know some people that had heart attacks because this kind of physical stress or mental stress becomes a physical stress, and it will cause heart attacks, and people have died because of that. My uncle, as a matter of fact, his daughter suddenly passed away when she was, I think, 55, and exactly 1 year to the day, he had a stroke. Exactly 1 year to the day.
The death of a loved one and of a child specifically, is so hard to overcome. It really
it's
is.
difficult, but you have to wake up one day. You literally, I put my feet on the floor and I said, I'm changing today.
Okay, so now let's bring it up. We're bringing the frequency up. It's so easy to get down in the dumps, get depressed, have anxiety, stress. You know, people are suicidal a lot after things like that too. So, okay, I know you're into God and your life with Jesus. You've shared that with me. You feel that helped you.
Absolutely.
How did it help you?
It made me realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
There's light after
There's
death.
light at the end of the tunnel. And I have to share this with you because I don't remember if I ever did tell this to you. Shortly after Christina passed away, I was getting in bed one night, and in the bedroom, I had her hospital bed because she was tube fed 24 hours a day.
Tube fed?
Yeah,
for
tube fed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get proper nutrition to keep her healthy when we were going through all of this.
And how many years did this go through?
Well, she started getting tube fed when she was about 9-10 years old, when she first started getting sick. And I will caution everybody that if your medical doctor has told you one thing, for God's sakes, get a second opinion. Get a second opinion. Get a third opinion, at least. And the reason I say that, most people say, well, get a second opinion. I got news. In today's climate, 2 opinions are not enough.
Exactly.
Because you don't know which ones of them really give a damn anymore. At least at that period of time, I knew who gave a damn and who didn't. I could figure that out pretty quick. But I was going to bed one night, and I had never turned her VCR off. I mean, it was on, the lights were on the front of it, and the way our beds were set up, I had to be in the same bedroom because if she started gagging in the middle of the night, I had to make sure that I heard it and could be right there to take care of it. And so our beds were 90 degrees apart, feeding tube and the feeding pump and everything was in between the beds. And so I laid down one night getting ready to go to bed, and I got a chill from just goosebumps from head to toe. I didn't know what the heck was that about. I learned pretty quick, but bottom line to it, long story short, it literally was Christina's spirit visiting me.
Exactly, I believe
and
that totally.
When my breathing changed from head to toe. When I say I had goosebumps, I literally had goosebumps from head to toe. I did not know what the hell was going on. I sat up on the side of the bed and I looked, and the room had a glow to it that when it's pitch dark, to have a glow, it's like, this is freaky. And I looked across the bedroom to that corner where her VCR and her TV was at the foot of her bed. And I could see about an 18-inch diameter translucent globe with colors just floating through it. And the colors on the 4 green colors on the front of the VCR were changing colors. Well, I came to realize they weren't changing colors. It was the colors of the globe that were passing over them that was making them look like the colors were changed.
Oh, interesting.
This went on up until September, literally 5-6 nights a week.
Really?
And the funny thing is, in September, it stopped. Cold turkey stopped. And I was like, no, I want these visits. Because I had really gotten used to them, and it really helped me. Well, I have since learned that when the parent is ready, the child will appear
Right.
and help you through those times. Because at that particular point in time, I couldn't have gotten through it all by myself. I really couldn't.
But she was right there by your side.
She was there helping
helping you heal.
helping me know that she was still part of my life. Because I've always, in a way, I've said I kind of say it tongue in cheek, but it's very true. When my kids would go to visit their mother on the weekend, when they would come back, they would be happy as could be. And Christina and I had a bond that I've always said a mother and a daughter should have. But she and I had that bond because I was the one who took care of her. I did everything for her. She would try to do things on her own, but with cerebral palsy, she wasn't able to do very much.
Right.
But when all of that happened, September, it just stopped cold turkey. I was talking to a babysitter that we had for several years, right at about the latter part of September. She said, well, I didn't know how to tell you this. And I said, what do you mean? She said, you remember the little boy I used to bring over when I was babysitting Christina, a little autistic boy? I said, yeah, I remember him, a cute kid. And Christina enjoyed the company. She loved other people. And she said, well, his mother opened his door to his bedroom the other day, and he was sitting on the floor reading a book and talking to Christina. And I said, are you kidding me? She said, yeah. And this kid, she said, Sheila, she said, he never looks at books.
And so
but since knowing Christina, he has been reading books.
So she's inspiring him on the other side to read books.
Yeah.
Well, I really believe in life after death, and it's interesting that you shared this with me, Jim, because I never knew that. We've been I've been in California. I left Dallas over 20 years ago, but we've remained great friends, and it's so great to have you come. So now you have a lot of decisions to make. Why don't you share with our audience what you're doing? You have Christina in your heart. She's always with you. She's on the other side. Mm-hmm. She's doing great. And what are you doing to shine for her? Because now it's in your ballpark.
Yeah.
To make other people happy.
Yeah.
What have you learned from her? What do you do to make others happy? What are you doing to make a difference?
Well, I have to preface this by saying she doesn't visit me anymore.
She's really busy.
She's in my heart, but she doesn't pay me those visits anymore. Yeah. And I've been told it's because she knows I don't need her to get through it, because I have gone through the tunnel, I've come out the other side, and what I'm trying to do right now, I have a construction business in Dallas, but I also trade currencies.
Right. Your new business, you're going to Utah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to shut down the construction business, in essence, because it takes up too much of my time. Because with the currency trading, I'm starting a foundation in Christina's name, and my mother's name too, because my mother also passed away from metastatic breast cancer. Okay. But I want to start that foundation in both of their names for cancer research outside of this country. And the reason I say outside of this country is because the FDA and the pharmaceutical companies are never going to allow a cancer cure in this country. It's not going to happen. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on cancer research. And I know from from doctors that I know who have been involved in cancer research and treatment, know that cures are available right now, but we are not allowed to have them in this country because of the billions of dollars that are made from cancer treatment.
Well, they say
not
taking care
cancer
of the
cancer
sick
cures.
is the #1 industry.
Yeah.
I've been into nutrition and vitamins and manufacturing food supplements for many years, and when we met, we were into vitamins back 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been into it, and let me tell you, you are what you eat, and
Yeah.
what happens when you feed the body with good nutrition and you have a good immune system, you never get sick.
That's
We
pretty
don't have
much
to
it.
take we don't have to have the drugs. If you
Yeah.
take care of yourself with rest, and I think another thing that's very important is to have love in your heart, and to really, with a story like you have, Jim, that's one reason I wanted to interview you, because as we bring Melody's Secret into play here, that website had to be redone because I've been focusing on Melody's Happy World, and there's a butterfly at the bottom of melodysecret.com. And when my loved one was sick, butterflies would land on her arm and fly away. And we haven't really gone public with what we went through, but we will in our movie and our story. And I'm getting ready to do a book. But your column is SOS, your child's cry for help, right here at the bottom of the butterfly. But this is a circle of life. What goes around comes around. And through what I came up with this logo, and I go down to the store in Dana Point and found this. It was my exact logo. And we had so many miracles with the butterflies. So I'm calling all the monarch butterflies and we have to have a special animal to call the guys, which we call them a beetle, the king beetle or something. Anyway, we're calling you all out from nature to actually, we need to make a difference. We need to help people be happy. And with your story, now what's exciting is you turn it around and you say, okay, I raise my frequency. Now I've got to go out and I've got to be like a missionary for good of what you went through and motivate people. And you will blossom and blossom and blossom. And you're calling, I feel every time I'm around you about this, you have such a dynamic life ahead of you. It did not end with Christina, it began.
Yeah.
Because
I really do feel like my life began
exactly
with Christina.
It did.
So.
And so I hope all of you go to melodysecret.com and melodyshappyworld.com, and you'll be hearing more and more from Jim, because I'm going to get behind him, because this guy, I'm going to go to Dallas. We're going to do a retreat down there, okay, Jim? And we're going to inspire, motivate, educate people to not give up, no matter what you're going through. And make sure your children and you are keeping your immune system up and they're eating healthy food. 50% of your diet should be fresh and raw. Make sure you're drinking the good alkaline water. There's so many things we need to do, but one of the things people don't realize is your frequency comes energy from food, right? But also people around you. And with the new year of 2022, even though we're going through a difficult time, I think it should be a good challenge for you and myself to really speak kind words, because people need more kindness. They need more love, more appreciation, more respect. And even though we can get resentment and we go through great hardship, we can become bitter and we can lose our life and our mission. But you have overcome that, and you're not bitter. You're going on with your life and you're helping people. And I want to see you someday at one of our seminars as a guest speaker. So this is Jim Sealey from Dallas, Texas. This is Melody Jensen, founder of melodysecret.com. Go to the butterfly at the bottom of Melody Secret. It's being rebuilt, the website. And Jim Sealey is SOS, your child's cry for help. His daughter had cerebral palsy and cancer, and he didn't give up. So tell us what you're doing to be happy right now. You're on a trip to help your other son up here.
Right.
Share what you've done to be happy in the last few weeks, the holiday season.
Well, pretty much, I hadn't seen my son in about 5 years.
Right?
And I've been dying to get out here. And from one thing for another, with my construction business, I hadn't been able to leave. And finally, I just gave up and said, I'm going. And I got out here the Monday before Thanksgiving. And I'm not going to go back to Dallas until the first week of February. So I'll be out here a little over 2 months, spending a lot of time with my son, and it's been great.
That is
It's something we
fantastic.
haven't really had a great
And
opportunity
what makes you happy?
to
You
do.
like to go dancing? That
No, I love
helps you
going
heal?
dancing. Yeah.
And what do you do for fitness?
And there's nobody in California who knows how to dance very well.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I know some places. I haven't been going lately. I've been too busy. But anyway, let me tell you, it's all about excitement. And no matter what you go through in life, you have to get over it. Okay?
Yeah.
And I went through a dark time. And if you go to Melody's Happy World, I've gone through dark times about 4 times, but I said, no, I'm going to be a butterfly and be happy, right?
Yeah.
And because it makes you sick when you're depressed and all that. And who wants to be around a person that's moaning and groaning with the blues, right?
Nobody does.
So you become a very lonely person. But when you reach out, inspire, motivate, educate, like you're on my team for the Happiness Crusade. So now what we do, we start doing that. And this is a beginning for Jim to be part of our Happiness Crusade that we're going to take globally with retreats and seminars and concerts. And it's really what I'd like to share with you on Melody's Happy World. I was going through one of my hardest times. I was taking care of my mom, had dementia at our Arabian Horse Ranch in Utah, and I took 2 years off, left my home in Newport Beach, gave all my earthly belongings away, and went to help my mom for 2 years. And I thought, man, that's really something, give all your earthly belongings that you've collected. And it was one of the best things I ever did. And I just said, I'm going to go make up for lost time, because I had people ill in my family and I wasn't able to visit my mom that much. So it was really a treat. But when I left there and came back to California, I really had a near-death experience myself. And if you go to Melody's Happy World and you scroll down on the bio link, right down to the bottom, you will see what happened to me with my near-death experience. I'm sharing it to the world because there is life after death. And my body did sit up out of bed. And God told me that my life was not over. I had a whole new beginning. My mom recently passed away this last year. And if you go to the bottom of the home link, you'll see the letter I wrote her when she turned 91. It's at the bottom of Melody's Happy World home link. Life is short. There's too many people that need our love and kindness, don't you think, Jim?
Exactly.
And I need to do more for you. And me, myself being in California, I really feel a longing to come back to Dallas to see my friends such as you and see what we can stir up down there, some happiness.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. And tell your friends, you know, if they want to be inspired, motivated, and educated on their reaching their full potential, go to Melody's Happy World and watch just 2 videos a day. I did it when I was going through a hard time. I said, if I listen to my music and if I listen to these motivational seminars and these inspirational people, that's going to help keep me on the right frequency. It's all about a happiness frequency. And so what you say is what you get. You're hung by the tongue. You can be depressed, you can be sad, you can be happy. You make the choice. It's 2022. Now, when I first came here to Claremont, and I have to say, I was walking on I like to go on this 2.5 mile walk to Claremont at times. And I was walking right past this store here. And something just told me to come in. And this happens to me. And if you listen to whatever the frequency, your energy, God or whoever you believe in will lead you to where you're supposed to be. And something just drew me right into this store. And it's called Happy Moments. Little did I know it. And here I'm on a Melody's Happy World Crusade. And I met a wonderful woman that you're going to meet on our next show, Margaret. And she's like the queen bee of this LA County, Upland area. And she knows everyone. She has the most beautiful clothes. And for Valentine's, we're going to really do a neat special. We're going to take you through a walk to just show a little bit of the store at the conclusion here today. But I want to thank you for tuning in. This hat is what I walk in the first time into Margaret's store and it said, Happy Right Now. I just walked into a Happy Right Now store called Happy Moments. I'm on the Melody's Happy World Crusade. I have one of the greatest friends in the world, and she is a dynamo. And we have so much fun. And her high fashion store and people that work with her there are all about happiness. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
I just was here, and I go to the happiest store in the town. And so God, or whoever you want to give credit to, your inner self, whatever, it will take you to where you're supposed to go for your mission. So I want to encourage all of you to prepare for Valentine's Day, and we are going to bring you to happy moments in a few weeks in time for Melody's Happy World to visit Happy Moments in Margaret, the queen bee of LA County here. And I want to also share with you, we're starting a podcast, Melody's Happy World podcast, with a lot of different distribution, and it's going to be real exciting. iHeart, Spotify, and I want to thank Eric Sealey, who's working with me with the network, Easy Way Network, and we're going to be having a lot of fun podcasts. The first one's going to be February 8th, and you can get your Dallas friends on, and we need to put you on that podcast, Jim, too, at sometime. So it's going to be from 6 to 7, February 8th, the second Tuesday of every month. And get all your friends that want to make a difference, that want to raise their frequency, that want to be happier. So go for it, and remember, happiness starts creating happiness right under your own roof. Thank you so much. And 2022 is going to be just great, and we hope to have you on our podcast February 8th from 6 to 7, and go to melodieshappyworld.com to get the number. You phone in. Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's soon.